Okay, so you guys wanted me to address Cheesecake Factory Girl. I'm gonna do it. If you don't know about Cheesecake Factory Girl, here's a brief rundown. She was invited on a date, and she was a little reluctant at first, but decided to go on the date with a man and refused to get out of the car when she saw that he drove up to the Cheesecake Factory. She decided to video that encounter, and it went viral. Everybody is talking about it. There's even been a subsequent podcast discussing it. So here is my take on Cheesecake Factory Girl. The first thing is, I'm going to address what she said in the podcast. She said that the reason why she recorded that encounter was so that she could share it in the circle of women who are hypergamous and talk about these dating issues. She wanted to share it. I personally think she did it as a flex. She thought that by recording the situation and then going back to her little group of Facebook friends or TikTok friends or whatever, that was going to be the thing that was going to be like, yes, girl, yeah. Let me tell you something. I have a lot to say about this. And I'm about to go, but I wanted to stop and do this video because this is really, really important stuff. First and foremost, there were some cardinal rules that were totally broken with this woman. And I want to start with the girl group. If you want to navigate in these circles, there are certain things that you are going to have to understand. And the first thing is discretion. Discretion means that you don't broadcast the things that you talk about in intimate circles to everyone to hear. Part of the reason why we have these groups and where we're open and talk about these things is so that we can share information with each other. We want that to reflect through our actions, not through our mouth, okay? You are to be discreet. If you cannot be discreet, if you're parroting information that you're getting from secret sister circle groups, you're not in line with the type of people in the circles that you want to be in. Now, I want to talk about the actual date and the Cheesecake Factory situation as it relates to etiquette, as it relates to moving in certain circles that you want to be in, especially if you have no experience being in those circles. First off, from the podcast, she mentions that she was late. Well, the guy mentions that she was late. She was so late to the initial date that the reservations were canceled. So the first thing is that he didn't plan on taking her to the Cheesecake Factory. He planned on taking her to someplace nicer, but she was so late, the backup was Cheesecake Factory. Here's another little tidbit for you. You guys, being late is a sign of bad etiquette, okay? It is rude to be late. If you are late, it sends a message. I am right now at a very wealthy man's home. And I talked to him about this, and he said that if that was his date, she would have only gotten a taxi ride home from him. It wouldn't have gone any further than that, because men like that at that level don't have that time to wait. You are to be prompt. So being late is a sign of disrespect. It shows that you don't honor the other person's time. So if you want to be in these circles and you don't honor people's time, then you're not going to you'll be invited once to something and you won't be invited again. And you'll just be left with wondering why, because they won't tell you. These people in these circles won't tell you why you won't get invited back. Okay? So there's that. There's the lack of discretion. It's the tardiness is the problem. And then her refusal to get out of the car is a lack of grace. If you want to be involved with men at a high caliber level, grace goes a really long way. They are going to not just look at your beauty. They are going to look at your grace. They're going to look at how you treat other people, how you treat them, and how you treat the people around you, from him to the wait staff to the janitor. Etiquette and protocol mandates that you treat everybody the same. You treat everybody with respect. When you show no grace, when you present yourself as a spoiled brat, you don't show yourself as an asset to anybody, but especially these types of men, okay? They're not going to be interested in pursuing anything with you if you have these types of temper tantrums. The other thing, the lack of discretion, is making somebody vulnerable by broadcasting it, by putting out a video that's spread everywhere to make that person feel humiliated, to make that person's life harder. That is not something that makes you attractive to anybody. She's recognizable now. Who's going to want to date at that level? A man at that level is, if he sees this video, he's not going to want to engage with her. She's already lost before she's even started. Okay, let's keep moving on to the other things that she said in terms of when they did the podcast recap of Cheesecake Factory Girl, where she said that courting means that you take me wherever I want to go and you buy me whatever I want. You come in with that attitude with a wealthy man, I'm telling you right now, you're not going to get a second date. You display your value, not with your mouth. You display your value through your actions. And trust me, when you do that, the right man and the wrong men know that intrinsically, and they will act accordingly. These are not things that you have to articulate with your mouth. These are things that are communicated through your body language, through your style, the way you treat people, your tone of voice, your ability to kind of go with the flow. Okay? So those are just a few of the things. Let's keep going. So let's talk about class. What is class? What is etiquette and what is protocol? Etiquette is what you do. Protocol is when it is appropriate to do it. If the mandate for class is that you treat everyone with respect, then if you refuse to get out of the car because because the Cheesecake Factory is so beneath you, when the reason why you're at the Cheesecake Factory is because you were late, because you showed disrespect, that right there shows a lack of class and understanding how to navigate in certain spaces. You have to be able to be a little bit flexible and a little bit able to go with the flow, especially if you're in the wrong. You don't want to be seen at the Cheesecake Factory because you think it's going to hurt your image. Well, guess what? You've gone viral because you're associated now with the Cheesecake Factory. You can't get away from the Cheesecake Factory. Everybody's going to know you as the Cheesecake Factory girl. It may be satisfying to you in the moment to say, I don't want to be associated with the Cheesecake Factory. I don't want anybody to see me going to this place. This place is beneath me. Doing that publicly shows a lack of class and understanding the environment in which you want to be in. And now that you have this baggage on you, and now everybody knows who you are, you've made it very, very difficult to overcome. I'm not saying it's impossible, but it's going to have to take some humility and some time to get over, okay? Finally, I'm going to leave you with this take. I'm going to give you the highlights of what I'm going to give you the highlights of what I think is the most important takeaway. Finally, I'm going to give you the highlights of what I think is the most important takeaway from Cheesecake Factory Girl. First thing is, be discreet. If you're having secret conversations where you guys are giving information about hypergamy, which is a very important conversation for Black women to have because historically we haven't done it, you're thinking that your TikTok videos are enough understanding of the tools that you need to navigate in these spaces. You're actually going to have to do the work. You're going to have to do a deeper dive. It's very surface level. The things that we get online, you're going to have to do deep dives to get a true understanding. Discretion means that you keep that stuff to yourself. The lessons that you've learned, you keep to yourself, and it's shown through your actions. Go with the flow. You saying that something is beneath you is super offensive to people who have been well cultivated, because they're looking at your behaviors. They're looking at how you manage situations, how you're going to navigate those situations, especially if they're thinking about you being a potential partner. So your lack of grace is a problem. The lack of grace with airing that and putting it out on video, embarrassing somebody who didn't deserve to be embarrassed when you were the one who did something wrong, is classless. You treating people like that is classless. And nobody with class, nobody with means, who has any kind of sense, is going to want to deal with you. And finally, this: if you think that beauty is all you need to get to be in these spaces, I'm going to leave you with this saying: show me a beautiful woman, and I will show you a man who is sick of her shit. There is more to beauty than just the looks. It's your grace. It's your class. It's your dignity. It's your empathy and care for others. That is what matters, not just your beauty, not just your makeup or your hair or your outfits. Stop listening to people who think that that's all it takes. I'm in these circles. I'm in the circle right now. And I'm telling you that if you want to break out from where you are, you're going to have to really know those tools and learn those tools. The good news is those tools are learnable. They're out there, but you have to take the time to go through it. And if you're interested and you like what I've had to say, you might want to check out the Pink Pill, getpinkpill.com. We talk a lot about that in our courses. We also talk about that on this channel, and we also talk about it in our private group. If you're interested in any of those, I'll put the links in the description box below. But that is my commentary on Cheesecake Factory Girl. Ladies, let's do better. The way that we show that we're really learning something is through our actions and not our mouth. Let's learn to keep quiet about the things that we've learned. Otherwise, we're gonna mess it up for everybody else, and ourselves included. I'm Crystalline Karazin, and I'm the creator of the Pink Pill. I hope this information has been valuable to you. Please take it in, but be sure to also take a deeper dive. Look at etiquette and protocol. Study it. Understand how these people move. Go to the places and observe them. This is not a movie. This is not a cartoon. This is real life. If you really want this in real life, then understand how all of it works. All right, guys, until next time, I'll see you later.